This episode is brought to you by Red Riding Hood, the manga-inspired take on the classic fairy tale for readers grades K through 2, written by Christina Oxtra. In Red Riding Hood, readers review the classic story in a brand new way, with twists in the story, more diverse characters, and featuring Japanese aesthetics incorporated throughout. Red Riding Hood is part of a series published by Capstone and written by various artists with unique takes on your childhood favorites. Look out for Red Riding Hood, available on Amazon and your local bookstores. Congratulations, Christina, on your first published book. The link is in the show description. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Boss Rush Podcast, a great place to play games and be better. I'm your host, Corey Deering, and alongside me is the grand return of the wise Wisconsinite, Mr. Jesse Douglas.
Hey, I'm alive.
Jesse, you've been gone for too long.
Yeah, I think I've literally only been on this show, I think, once this month.
Yeah.
Maybe, if even that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's been a busy month.
You and Ed are abandoning me.
Well, that's, it kind of worked out though, because we've got a couple of new people that I haven't quite got to meet yet that's joined the group.
I know there's
so there's a lot going on. So.
I think in the last month we went from, I would say, 5-6 people to 12 now. Yeah. Literally doubled in size. Which
nothing wrong with that.
Including the man joining us. Also joining us is the PC Muscle Race, as we're calling him. LeRon Dawkins.
Hey everybody, what's going on?
Is this name gonna stick? Are we gonna?
I don't know. I don't know, because I feel like with that name comes great responsibility. Like, I'm gonna have to start flexing and wearing muscle shirts and tank tops, making sure I don't violate the no nipple policy.
I mean, you're just gonna have to start curling some of these massive graphics cards on screen is what you're gonna have to do. So, how are you, LeRon?
Pretty good. Kind of been a little bedridden the last few days here.
Yeah, how's that leg?
It's better. It's not in. Well, actually, I was gonna say it's not in pain today, but I did a little bit of running around, and all of a sudden my leg's like, "Hey, you need to chill out. Like, do not make me put you down again." So it's one of those situations where it's like, okay, enough activity. I'm ready to just get back in bed, watch more podcasts, watch the G.I. Joe Hasbro stream on YouTube, and just be a vegetative nut.
Yeah, I jumped out of the back of a truck on Tuesday. And really, my knee hurts real bad. I landed wrong.
I have a moving truck or a stationary truck?
A stationary truck, so.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
Corey jumping out of a moving one.
I was about to say, who was after you?
I was doing my best rock impression in action movies. I was like, yeah, truck was moving. I was just jumping.
There's an art to actually jumping down out of objects, whether moving objects or inanimate objects. There's an actual art to it, because if you do it wrong, you will jack up everything all the way up to your neck.
Yeah. So I jacked up my right knee pretty good, and I can walk fine, but as soon as I step down some stairs, or try to sit down or stand up, it's just like, oh my gosh, it's gonna give out.
We're brothers right now, because it is my right leg that's doing that, and right now the pain wants to rest either right on top of the knee, or right above the knee, or right down the calf around the outside.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly where mine hurts. So okay,
yeah. I didn't mean to pass you that juju, but
Yeah, thanks, LeRon. Appreciate it. All right, so a little bit of housekeeping real quick. Like we mentioned last week, we launched Crossroads, the PlayStation podcast, last week. You can catch it on Spotify and Anchor. It's still trying to be approved on Apple Podcasts and Google, but some of the smaller podcast services it's available on already. So you can go check that out, hosted by LeRon, as well as Logan and Nelly, and, of course, Brody from the Diggity podcast. Really loved that first episode. I kind of sat in and produced it and made sure the live show went well. It was a good show. It was a great one. So
thank you.
Best pilot episode I've ever heard. So just
throw
that out there.
Now there's pressure. That means the sophomore
there's
episode
pressure.
has to be phenomenal.
Yep. You do. So
honestly, just you guys be you, and I don't think there'll be much of a problem.
Yeah. So
I think we had that in spades, especially Logan and I just bonding over Dead Space and what was the other game? Because we couldn't bond over. Unfortunately, we couldn't bond over Horizon. Sore subject there.
Which apparently Logan's the only person that's beaten Horizon. So. Which we found out when everybody was giving you such a hard time during the episode.
Yeah, we're all supposed to be PlayStation aficionados, and only 1 out of 4 of us have actually beaten one of the titles for PS4.
Yeah, so that was funny though. I enjoyed it immensely. So you guys should check that out. Also, Celeste interviewed BU, the community manager for Whitethorn Games, and she was a former Mixer partner, now streaming on Twitch. So. Hopefully you guys check that interview out as well. It was really good. I really appreciate her taking the time out of her busy schedule to do that. And I think we're going to work with her a little bit in the future on some things, including her guest appearance on Nintendo Pow Block this week. So hopefully you guys will check that out as well. This is the Boss Rush Podcast. This is episode 60. Each and every week we come together to talk about video games and everything we love about them with our friends. You can join us live on Saturdays at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/BossRushGamesLive or be a part of the conversation. But if you can't join us live, no big deal. You can head on over to youtube.com/BossRushGames and BossRushGames.com to watch the show or listen on your podcast service of choice. Remember to subscribe, follow, rate, and review wherever you consume us. It helps us out with discoverability, helps people find us, all that good stuff. Please leave that 5-star rating. Really, really help us out. Or a thumbs up on Spotify, I think is all it is. So check out our family of shows wherever you listen to podcasts. And all of our content is on BossRushGames.com. We're going to get into our gaming get down, as Ed likes to call it. The gaming get down. What have we been playing? LeRon, we're going to go your way first.
Okay, well, actually, I have finally turned on Horizon Zero Dawn. I said turned on, like I downloaded the updates, and it's like, I will start eventually.
I'm gonna tell you, you have to get through the little kid part at the beginning before it kind of gets into what you think that game is. The little kid part's kind of weird. It's strange. Little, I don't know. It just kind of looks like they just scrunched Aloy into like this Funko Pop version of herself. That kid, there's something about that little kid model, man, that just kind of messes with your brain. But anyways, I didn't mean to interrupt you. That was just wanted to warn you that there's a little kid part that you got to get through.
All right, so it probably won't be that big a deal for me because I played through a lot of more obscure freaking intros and stuff like that. But I kind of been taking it easy. Haven't really been doing a lot of gaming. Not even like mobile or portable gaming because of what's been going on with my leg lately. It's been like just trying to find a comfortable position to play a video game in is a challenge. So I've kind of taken it easy. My Monster Hunter buddies are screaming at me right now. He's like, get back on. And it's like, no, the new Monster comes out in October. I'll be fine.
Nice. It's tell you what, man, if you're like hurt or sick or anything and you think like, oh man, now that I am like bedridden, I can play games all the time. It's just not something you want to do. It's just not something you want to actively do.
How did we do this when we were kids? I remember being busted up as a kid and had that freaking NES controller in my hand, just going to work.
Yeah, just like kind of, oh, I don't feel good. I'm just gonna sit. Like my parents had a little TV for me behind the couch, and I would just sit behind the couch and play Nintendo when I was sick or if I was like hurt or something. And now I'm just like, oh, I just don't want to move anywhere. I don't even want to turn the TV on.
I'd love to have my kid brain back for some of this stuff, not for all of it, but at least for the stuff that's like when I want to have fun, let me have the kid brain back again.
Right.
The adult brain's a party pooper. Nah, don't jump off of that. You'll kill yourself. Nah, don't go in there. Something will chop your head off.
Right.
For me, like whenever I got sick, honestly, it was either It was either I was barely ever sick, but when I did get sick, it was just really bad. It's always been my whole life that I don't get sick much, but when I do, it goes all out. And so yeah, like I think when I was younger, the most I would do, like when I was sick, is maybe watch like Price is Right or whatever.
Hey, that was also a staple. That was also a staple of being sick back in the day.
Yeah.
Sit
People
on
look
that,
forward
lay
to
on
it.
that couch, and watch The Price is Right.
With them big like Best Buy tags on their shirts with their name written real
Oh
big.
yeah, the big.
Oh man,
Uh,
Bob
yeah.
Barker, man, what a guy. But yeah, is that kind of, it's kind of just all you've been doing, is kind of just like playing
Convalescing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jesse, it's been a while since you've been on the show.
Yeah, and I've actually had, like, over this entire month, I've had like very, very small gaming sessions of like maybe, like 15, 20 minutes at a time. But I've played quite a few things that I haven't talked about yet. So Sessions had a free download, like you could download Sessions,
Is
that
that the-
skateboarding game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could download that on Xbox, and you can, I think you get like a 10-hour or a 2-hour or something, full demo play of it, where you can, kind of test it out and see if it's something you'd be interested in. So I downloaded that, and I actually did buy Skater XL, because I just was watching videos of it and stuff, and it looked really interesting. Obviously, like, I'm like, once the Tony Hawk games come out, like, that's probably going to be where most of my time will be spent. But I do really like the almost simulation, like, kind of style that the Skater XL is offering you. And it definitely is really hard to get used to, the whole idea of, like, each foot individually having a joystick on Skater XL. Yeah, Sessions looks better in a lot of ways, but I feel like Skater XL is a much more enjoyable gameplay than Sessions was. Now, both of them are, like, still kind of like in almost an early access version. They're, like, neither of them are complete yet. They're going to be constantly being updated and improved on. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy Skater XL, like, what I put into it. I didn't really get into Sessions quite as much. There, like I said, there's certain things about Sessions that do look better. But as far as the fun aspect of it goes, I had way more fun playing Skater XL than I did Sessions. So yeah, I've played a little bit of both of those. I picked up, while I was on vacation last week, I picked up the Ring Fit Adventure or whatever.
Oh yeah, how was that?
I didn't really get too much into it. I just, I went through the whole starting of the game, which, like, to get through the whole introduction part of it, I think took like 15-20 minutes. Just to do the, setting everything up and teaching you how to, how certain things work, and, getting everything, calibrated, and, like, teaching you how to do the stretching stuff, and, like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that it went through. And then, like, by the time it got to the point of where I was about to start, like, the actual campaign adventure mode, I just saved it, and, I'm like, okay, well, now I got all that stuff done, I can come back to this, and actually next time I put the 15 minutes or 20 minutes in, I can actually do, like, a level. So I'll once I go through that, then I'll talk about that a little bit more. But I mean, I've kind of been wanting to get it. I've been hearing so many great things about it. So, I'm glad I finally was able to pick it up. And yeah, I just got it while I was in Upper Michigan because I was like, I don't know if there's going to be any copies of it, in stores here, because I know it was selling out quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they stopped producing it for a while, and that's why it was hard to find. But I don't know if that's made a difference now that they've been making more, if they're still selling out. I don't know, but I just figured they had some there. I wanted it. I might as well just grab it and make sure, instead of just assuming that there'll be some when I get back home. Right. So yeah, and then I know, like, we've kind of talked about playing it here eventually, but I did actually start up Battletoads and try a little bit of it, just because I was really curious. And man, I like it. I like what I've played so far. It's just dumb fun, like, and it's challenging, but it's not like ridiculous challenging like the original was.
Oh yeah.
Because I played the speeder bike level in this new one, and it definitely is challenging. Like it brings me back to the days of playing frequency or amplitude, where you're like, having to flip, flip over and, like that kind of thing. But it's, it's doable. It's not like frustrating to the point of where you just don't want to play it anymore.
It was just difficult enough to where you felt the nostalgia for the original game, but at the same time, it wasn't like you're gonna go outside and just like start chucking like 5-year-olds, that are on the street. I'll be honest, like, I really do like the character stuff and the story stuff that's going on in it. I'm liking so far. I think they did a pretty good job of like the humor and stuff like that so far, and so I'm definitely looking to forward to playing more of that. So
yeah, but I played a little bit of it. It was what I played was fine. I definitely feel like it's made to be co-op, but also they do a lot of interesting things to, like, if you're playing by yourself, they have that kind of, you can switch in and out the different Battletoads and kind of do different combos. It feels like there's a lot of solo combo built into it. Mm-hmm. So it's neat. There's some cool ideas there. I didn't get very far because I was waiting for us to play together at some point, but
yeah, we'll definitely have to play it. Yeah, play it together, because I think that it's definitely it's kind of like Streets of Rage, where it's just so much more fun to play with other people, I think. So but yeah, that for now, that's pretty much it for newer stuff that I can think of. So
cool. Well, for me, it's been just kind of switching on and off between Destiny and Assassin's Creed. I haven't felt the need to play something new in a while. My mind's like, I want to play something new, but I haven't just sat down and taken the time to get into a game, right? It just, nothing is kind of jumping out at me, so I've just been switching between Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Destiny. And I've been having fun, right? Like Destiny, I've been really grinding out some stuff for the Solstice of Heroes event, but other than that, I played some Switch stuff. I did play, let's see, let me open my Switch here. Let's see what I have been playing. I played a little bit of NBA 2K20 on my Switch. Ironically enough, it's sometimes I just want to play a sports game, and been playing on my Switch.
Nothing wrong with that.
It's been fun, like it's fun to play a game or two and then turn it off and be like, okay, well, that's it. That's this month's basketball sesh. So
well, that's kind of why I picked up Skater XL. Is I just wanted something that was just completely different, that is like nothing else that I have on my Xbox, that I can just kind of go to as like a palate cleanser, because I was kind of the same way this month, man. I've just like, I don't know. I've just been kind of in a funk when it comes to games. Like the normal things that I wanted to do or play, I just have not like had interest in this month.
Yeah.
Like I just wanted something else to do that I haven't done in a long time or that's, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's just this weird point in games where I really want Tony Hawk to come out. I really am interested in replaying Kingdoms of Amalur when it comes out. And then the new consoles this fall, right? Like that's kind of it. Like, yeah, Pikmin 3 is coming out for Switch, but like it's probably one of the only people that owned a Wii U on this team. Like I played it already. So I'm like, yeah, as awesome as it is to get these Wii U games on Switch, and I'll probably get it at some point, and I'll probably play through it again, but like reissues aren't really exciting to me. Like, I mean, yeah, the Tony Hawk 1 and 2 remake are because they remade it, right? Like it looks amazing. And Kingdoms of Amalur was like just this awesome RPG that I would love to play again, and it's getting a new expansion in the spring, so like kind of want to revisit that. But like these Wii U games that aren't really touched at all, it's just kind of like I played that already, and as much as I love Pikmin, 3 is not exactly my favorite one either, so I don't know.
You're not the only one. You're not the only one that says that about Pikmin 3. Like, Pikmin had like this magic about it, and then a lot of my friends who loved like the original and the sequel were like, there was just something just not right about Pikmin 3. So
yeah.
I got a bunch of friends who can agree with you on that one.
I really like the simplicity of Pikmin 1, where you're just one guy running around trying to find your spaceship parts, and I want another game like that, but just more expansive. I don't need 3 different pilots with 3 different teams of Pikmin and trying to solve the same puzzle in 3 different locations. Like, I don't need that,
Yeah.
It was a great looking game. Like, it's still one of the prettiest Wii U games, but it's just kind of like there's a little bit too much here.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like how the new Yoshi's Crafted World, like it's like
it's
like
game
that.
Of the year 2018.
Well, and that's the thing though, is like I feel like that game is a lot like the original Pikmin, where it's just very simplistic, and the things that it does pretty well. Like you don't have to have, sometimes you just don't have to have all these, crazy amounts of things that you can do. Sometimes it's just nice to just be able to float through a game and just enjoy it.
That's the one thing I will say about the Nintendo fan base, and this sounds like an insult, but it's not. But when it comes to great games from Nintendo, the bar is on the floor. Like, it does not have to be set ridiculously high for it to be like this crazy phenomenal game. Like, sometimes simple is the best way to go, and I feel a lot more developers out there could actually take a cue. I'm not saying water down your games to the point where it feels like they're just pandering to you.
Yeah.
But keep the stuff that makes the game magical in there, but don't just try to shoot for like this next masterpiece. I always feel like the best games are games that the developers weren't shooting for a masterpiece, but it became a masterpiece, in reaction from the player base.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
like Outer Worlds, and like they've kind of, they're like, we don't want to make this like crazy massive game. We'd rather just kind of shrink it down and focus on the things that we're trying to do, and I feel that's what Nintendo does really well, is they focus on the main things that the game wants to do, and don't spend all this extra time on everything else where you're just kind of losing focus of what the main thing you're trying to do in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's I don't know, man. As someone who kind of runs the Nintendo ship for Boss Rush, it's kind of like I've been kind of, I don't want to say bored lately, but it's just kind of like Paper Mario was interesting, but I haven't played it yet, and like I've never been into Paper Mario, and I'm not saying every game has to be for me, right? Because that's literally that's impossible, right? But I haven't really played anything that Nintendo's put out this year that is like super exciting. Like I didn't like Animal Crossing. I got it. I played it, but it's just like I don't understand. Like I don't understand what people find appealing about this game.
I never found Animal Crossing like any type of appealing for me. Not when it was like an original. What was the original IP for? 64?
GameCube.
Oh, okay. So his first instance was on the GameCube. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I never saw the draw to it. I mean, honestly, it was like a Sims game in my interpretation back when I saw it, and you know, but it's more like a cartoony Sims game that like is geared towards a younger audience, and you know, and I just never saw the appeal to it because it's like, okay, if I'm going to play a Sims game, I'll just play the Sims, even though I don't play the Sims. Like I played the more mature versions. I played Sim City and all those other Sim type games and stuff like that. But I just never got it. So I'm right there with you, Corey. You know, so like when Animal Crossing came out on the Switch, even I have a roommate. She does not play video games at all, but she loves Overcooked. And for a while she was begging me to buy Animal Crossing for the Switch, and I was like, okay, you know, I'm not gonna spend $60 for a game for a system I barely turn on, so you can play.
Right. I mean, that's like my wife's not into video games at all, but she'll play Mario Kart. So I ended up getting Crash Team Racing, and it's just like it's even though it's a kart racer, it's just still way too different. Yeah, you know, and it's just like, okay, well, gotta wait for Mario Kart 9 now, I guess 5 years from now, when this game stops selling, maybe.
That's a game I refuse to let come in my house.
Mario Kart.
No. Mario Kart, like I just released I just let up the embargo on Mario Party because this new Mario Party game was amazing, and it was the first one. It was the first one right out the gate. I beat everybody in when I played it, so I was like, okay, you know what, Mario Party can come back, but Mario Kart can just stay out.
That right. Well, how about that Ryan's toy review version of it? Oh my god, my kids watch that crap. I can't stand him, but like, yeah,
he has his own Switch game, by the way.
Yeah,
Apparently.
that kart game or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like basically like a Mario Kart clone, I think.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just I know next year is rumored to be like a monster year for Switch, right? Like apparently we're getting all kinds of Zelda, and the Mario 35th anniversary stuff got pushed to next year, and a 2D Metroid and a HD Prime trilogy next year.
Wait. Hold on. A new 2D Metroid game is coming?
That's the rumor.
Oh, it's a rumor. Okay.
Well, and isn't there rumor also, or now that they're like been confirmed that PlayStation, or not PlayStation, that Nintendo is in fact making
the Switch Pro.
Switch Pro.
It's
that
also a rumor.
The new Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 will probably be for that.
Yeah, the rumor is they're going to launch Breath of the Wild 2 next to the Switch Pro.
Yeah. But
it'll still run on the regular Switch. It'll just be like
1080p
supposedly this new Switch is like
4K.
It's more powerful, but also the dock is going to have some processing power in it to make it output probably checkerboarded 4K, which is what the PS4 Pro does now. So that's the rumor. We're going to deep dive into it on Nintendo Power Block this week, so prepare for that. But you know, I next year for Switch sounds like the year I'm going to just have to sell a kidney or something. This year, just whatever. So I don't know. I just haven't really found anything on Switch that's been appealing this year. So I've been playing a lot of Crosscode and The Witcher on Switch this year. Have been my two main Switch games.
So how is The Witcher on the Switch?
I like it.
Did you play it on any other console?
I played it on Xbox One for a little bit, but I was like, this game's way too long and I'm not going to have any time to play it. But then when it came to Switch, like I've been playing a lot of it on TV, which it looks whatever, it looks fine. But when you play it in handheld mode, it actually looks remarkably good for the Switch version. And the whole game and all the DLC somehow fits on a cart. So
yeah, right? Yeah, that's crazy.
plus they just updated it about 2 months ago on the Switch to give it. They have a new texture pack and a higher frame rate pack that they released in that patch. So it runs at like 45 frames a second. And
see, I'm trying not to, because I have a bad thing about double dipping when when a game that I want to play or a game I like comes to like a handheld. Mm-hmm. I'm trying my best, because I accidentally bought The Witcher 3 twice. Because I didn't realize I had the base game, but I didn't realize I had like all the DLC and everything. So I accidentally bought. I bought it on sale for like $15 on the Humble store, and got the whole collection. And then when I went to download it, it was like, oh, add on to your existing install. I was like, I had The Witcher.
Yeah, it just feels like one of those games that everybody has at some point purchased.
Yeah. But so I just wanted to hear someone's thoughts on how it is on the Switch, and please feel free to tell me I do not need to buy it again.
I mean, if for me, I'm in like this kind of parent situation where like I don't use the TV a whole lot, so the Switch is kind of my go-to console.
The Switch is perfect. Yeah.
And so playing a game like The Witcher, if I have any hopes of finishing The Witcher, it'd be on
the Switch.
Yeah. So, which is how I played Zelda too, right? Like I played a lot of the big story beats on the TV. I played, I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to take this out, because I'm not a huge handheld gamer. Like, I don't really care about handheld consoles a whole lot. Mm-hmm. But I actually, out of the 225 hours I put into Zelda, maybe 25 of them were on the TV. And like, I'm probably 30 hours into The Witcher, and probably 5 of them have been on the TV. So,
what I may do though is I may break out the Switch, because I walked in Best Buy one day and caught the Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2 collection on sale, and Final Fantasy 12 on sale. Both games $50. So I got 3 games $50, and I've seen Digital Foundry's kick back on the Switch version of 12 and 10-2, and they're like, if you hadn't played these games yet, the best experience to play them right now, if you don't have the PC versions, is to get the Switch version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Digital Foundry said that, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I have both those games as well on Switch, and I got to tell you, 12. I haven't played it since the PS2 release. Like, I skipped the PS4 re-release because I was like, these old, like, because they had already announced that 7, 8, and 9 were coming to Switch at that point, and I was like, well, I'm sure 12 is coming to Switch at some point, and I waited, and I'm really happy that I did. 12 looks really good. Like they kind of retouched the cutscenes a little bit, and they added a new kind of leveling system. It's a great version of that game. So.
I picked 12 up and put it down when it was original PS2 game, because I was expecting. I guess the problem was like when they said Return to Evilise, I was expecting more of a Final Fantasy Tactics vibe to it, and Final Fantasy Tactics is my favorite Final Fantasy game, and people look at me and they want to fight me because it's not one of the numbered Final Fantasy games. Oh my
gosh, they can get out of here. Final Fantasy Tactics is awesome.
Same. It's my favorite too, I think.
Let me ask you, where's this HD re-release of War of the Lions, the PSP version?
Hey, I love that. As a matter of fact, we said on Crossroads, I said on Crossroads, is like, if you're gonna reach back in the vault and remake or re-release something for PS5, Final Fantasy Tactics is my pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just fix the battle system from where you flubbed it in the PSP version. Even though the PSP version is forgivable, but it's something about doing magic spells and it slows down the gameplay. When magic spells were what the gameplay was about.
Yeah, it's just like, come on, where is it? Where is
this?
Know. So
yeah, because I mean, we have a couple of tactic games that have been coming out recently.
Yeah, like Fell Seal Arbiter's Mark. If you want Final Fantasy Tactics, you should play Fell Seal Arbiter's Mark.
Where's that at? Is that on the Switch?
It's on everything.
Oh, it's on everything because I'm about to grab my Switch. I'm about to grab my Switch right now and look for it.
It's $30. There's also a $12 expansion that just came out this year called like Magic and Monsters or something, where they add like probably 20 or 30 hours more gameplay. But it's like
one more time with that name.
Fell Seal, like FELLSEAL.
Arbiter's Mark. Okay.
Yep. It's the art style, like it took me a minute to get used to. Like I don't know, there's something about it that kind of whatever to me, but once you get in there and play it, the customization and just like, oh dude, it kind of actually
looks very Tactics Ogre-y.
Yeah, it feels a lot like Tactics Ogre too. But it just the deep customization and the party system and everything. Oh, it's so good.
Okay.
It's so good. It's on sale all the time too. So if you want to wait a little bit, like if you want to add it to your Steam library and wait for a sale or whatever, I got it on Switch when it was on sale for like $17.
I see. I'm that weirdo because when games look like this, I prefer to get them on the Switch.
Yes, that's
because I got Wargroove for sale for some wild flash sale on Steam for like $4. Yeah. And my ultra wide crazy monitor, made that thing look. I was like, oh, this is unbearable, but I want to play it more, but it's unbearable. And I ran to Best Buy and bought a $20 DLC pack just to get it on the Switch.
Yeah. Plus, like the Switch version and the PC versions of all these games have cross save.
Yeah. Which
is also like if you played The Witcher on PC, also you can connect it to your whatever account that you played it on, and it's cross save.
I did not know that. I didn't know that for The Witcher.
Yeah, only for the PC version though, not the Xbox or PlayStation version. But
so the GOG version.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that's really cool. They just did it with like Civ and XCOM 2. They did it. So there's a lot of games that are cross save on the Switch with PC versions, which is really cool.
You know what? If Capcom does something like that with Monster Hunter, it'll make it a lot more bearable for me to say I'm going to buy the game on both systems because
that's the weird thing, right? Like I thought Capcom would have tried to at least do that at some point with Monster Hunter World, because a lot of people bought the PlayStation or the Xbox version, and the PC version was what, like 7 or 8 months later.
Yeah, then we crossed over to the PC version. A lot of people who are PC gamers by default.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that was kind of a weird situation how they handled that game.
Because I got friends right now who are saying we'll buy the next Monster Hunter game if you play with us, and I'm like, you buying it on PC?
Yeah, it's just like, come on, guys, let's. I don't know. It seems like crossplay it needs to happen now. And there's a lot of cross save stuff, but like it needs to be integrated into more stuff.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that that's something that they're kind of, will be more standard in next generation.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Apex,
there's going to be a grasp for it.
Well, supposedly it like the cross save and the crossplay stuff wasn't technically possible in Apex, but during this, when they announced it for Switch, they're like, oh, it's going to have crossplay and cross progression now. And it's like, you literally just said in an interview like 4 months ago it wasn't even possible.
Are you retroactively doing it on the other versions too?
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know.
I think it's because there's probably just so much red tape with it. With it trying to make it work with. Like everyone's got to be. It seems like a lot of times like everyone's got to be all in, or it just can't happen. Or because when it does happen, it's only certain, platforms. Then it just feels clunky, and it feels, like just like it's a mess. I think it's one of those things where all platforms are just gonna have to all say like, have to be all in for it to really be as amazing of a thing as it could be. Like it just needs to be a new standard. Moving.
My prediction is coming. I'm not. I'm not gonna say it'll be as early as this new console launch that we're getting ready for, but I believe. Well, I'm pretty sure we're fairly young. I'm pretty sure it'll happen in our lifetime, but I feel like it's sooner than later. For the most part, where we'll have a complete cross-play environment. Cross save will definitely be a bigger thing to do, because I feel like as far as like those save files and stuff go, like those should automatically be on the developer servers anyway. So like for example, Monster Hunter World, that should be on Capcom servers for your save files and stuff like that. And along with your local files, because like I played on Steam, and the first thing it says is make sure your cloud file is synced to your local save file and stuff like that. So that means it's up there somewhere. Somebody's managing it. So what's the problem?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I honestly, I don't know what you guys think, but I could see the possibility of maybe one more console coming out, but I think when that next console comes out down the road, that it's still going to be an option. I could seriously see Xbox or those kind of things being literally like a Netflix app where you just like if you want these services and these things, you have to have this app and you pay for these subscriptions for this thing. Like look at Hulu. Like with Hulu, you can have just regular Hulu, but then inside Hulu, you can have, the Sci-Fi Channel, subscription. You can have a subscription for this. You can have a subscription for that. And like, I could see consoles with, once the, xCloud type things and all that are really to the point of where they can do what the consoles do in your house like perfectly over the internet, then there won't be a need for a physical console anymore. And I think like at that point that like things like crossplay and all that stuff wouldn't really matter, because in a way it would be much easier of a thing to do, because it's just going to be everywhere. You'll have, you'll be able to buy a new TV and then boom, you have Xbox on there or whatever.
Yeah, well, with the advent of cloud gaming and stuff like that, Stadia, even despite its rocky launch, like Stadia is still in the game and it's picking up some more steam now, stuff like that. So if Stadia and guys of that like can stay in the market long enough, it will eventually help to propel like the entire gaming industry to that point. And given with the way we are now, because our society's evolved around, like, even though like we're still a computer society, like we function more on mobile devices, so phones, tablets, things of that nature, like even like just really random stuff. Even our smartwatches, for example. The more and more we get plugged into devices that aren't traditional, like PCs or console gaming boxes and things like that, the more and more opportunities there have been for us for marketing and developing for stuff like Netflix, Hulu, and all that stuff. And then we've got games as a service and all this stuff. So I feel like if Stadia can stay in the game long enough and wind up getting some more rivals into that cloud gaming sphere, like we're going to definitely see a new shift for how PC and console gaming has, and I feel like it's going to be for the better.
Yeah, I mean, I could even honestly see it get to the point like where when it starts getting baked into TVs, that you have companies like Samsung and stuff possibly having their own game, like developer teams or whatever that would make, because I heard recently that like apparently Samsung has its own like TV channels that you can watch.
Yeah, they do.
Through Samsung TVs that you can't watch anywhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, like if they're doing that kind of stuff, if something like Xbox or PlayStation just becomes an app on their TVs, I could see them like having their own like teams of developers that will make games that are like specifically you can only play through the app on a Samsung TV or something like that, you know?
Well,
like,
I'm telling you right now, with the deal that Microsoft has with Samsung on phones, TVs with Game Pass are the next thing.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited because, like, dude, I know a lot of people are iPhone fans, but I just absolutely love Samsung phones.
I can't even remember. I was over a friend's house back before pandemic because, you know, like, oh no, I haven't been over anybody's house in the last 5 months. But I was at a friend's house and they had just gotten a new television, and I remember I was playing around with just the remote settings to see what all the features were on it, and I swear I saw like GeForce Now, and I was like, wait. GeForce Now, do you have an NVIDIA account? Like, no, what is that? I'm like, you'll be able to play games directly off of this. And so it's coming. It's out there.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what model TV it was. I don't remember it was a Vizio, but it wasn't one of the major ones. So it wasn't like LG or Samsung, or it definitely wasn't Sony. I can't remember but what it was, but I remember seeing that and I was like, GeForce Now, do you have an account for NVIDIA? And it's like, no, what is that? I was like, that's gaming stuff for PCs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming, whether you want it or not. It's
it'll be exciting.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, you know, like we've always heard the consoles aren't the main focus for these companies. It's all about the software, and if they can get that software to you and cut out having to spend, you know, hundreds of dollars to make each console and waste, you know, and lose money on it, like they're going to go that route if they can, you know.
Oh yeah.
Have Sony or have, you know, like Samsung make the TV that can give you what you want, and they don't need to spend that money anymore to make the physical product to be able to play their thing that actually makes them money, you know. I
wondered though, will that make TVs more expensive? Because I feel like TVs have hit a saturation point now that where like it's got to be competitive for it to be like a multi-$1,000 television now.
I mean, theoretically though, if it's ultimately not doing anything hardware wise to run the games, then it shouldn't affect it. Theoretically, the price. I mean, I do think just naturally as we go, as technology gets better, that the prices will go up on things. But I think one of the things that I could see them doing that would make the TVs more expensive is if they try to start doing what monitors do, like to have that millisecond only of latency, where most TVs, I think the lowest latency you can have is like 11 milliseconds or 15 milliseconds or something like that. Like just in nature, the way that monitors are made, there's just you can't get that kind of latency on low latency on a TV. Like it just isn't. They just don't do it right now. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if maybe that would have to be something they would have to look into if they start running, you know, games natively on it, you know, through the app or whatever. But I could see stuff like that making stuff cost more, of just like having to redesign the way that they're building the TVs. But I think outside of that, if there's no hardware actually doing anything to play the games on it, then I, you know, theoretically that wouldn't really change the price of it, I don't think. You know, because it would be no different than just, you know, because it has Netflix on it. You know, like, does it cost more just because it has Netflix on? No, that's usually just something that they're offering, you know, to get you to buy their product. You know, like to be able to say, hey, we support Netflix and we have, you know, HBO on our thing or whatever, you know.
It's interesting to watch. All I know is like there was a nice little phase when like TVs became smart TVs, that there was a whole bunch of gimmicks and stuff like that, and it kind of drove up prices. So that's why I asked my question.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good question, and I do think that like I said, I do think they will eventually. It probably would make it go up, but I think it would be for different reasons, probably because they're more on a hardware side, that maybe there's something that they have to spend more money on to try to get it to, because I mean, look, like you can buy a monitor that's like only 1/4 the size of your TV, and it can cost just as much, if not more,
as a TV.
Yeah, than a TV, because of certain things that it's doing that TVs just don't do. Mm-hmm. So like, see that, and that's where I could see if they have to do that on a TV, have it be able to do what a monitor does in order for playing games through an app to work properly. Then I could see, that it would have to then be costing way more for a TV to be able to have that option. But that's the thing, is like, it's at this point it's all just like theories, and like we don't see it happening yet, so we don't really know how that would work.
Yeah.
We can only guess at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Let's circle back to the gaming get down for a second. I did realize I have been wasting a little bit of time on something, and it's just something I have been able to do. I've been playing the mobile game Teppen, which is basically Capcom and Gung Ho teamed up to make this card game based around the characters from like the Capcom's universe. So, I've been playing it since launch back in It's been a year, so since July of last year, I've been playing it, and it's been a great time waster. But of course, it's a mobile game, so yes, there are microtransactions everywhere. So if you like games like Hearthstone, or your old school Yu-Gi-Oh or UFS player from back in the day and stuff like that, you'll enjoy Teppen. But I will say, like, make sure like you and your wallet are at peace with each other, or you may drop some money. And I've looked at the transactions on the store. You can spend anywhere from $2 up to $99. It's like whoa. But it also has a free to play model, so you do have the opportunity to get the same things that people get from just buying everything straight out. But of course, it's a longer grind for it.
Cool. Yeah, and speaking of mobile games, I need to get my free gift from Disney Emoji Blitz.
Dude,
that game's
finally,
like... Oh, go ahead, Jesse.
Did you see I had finally passed over 100, what was it, 100 million or whatever score in one game?
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Like, I had just a crazy good game. Yeah, I play that every once in a while too, but it was so misleading though. They made you think that like when you unlock emojis for your phone, that like it would be as good as the Mickey Mouse one that they give you. Yeah. Like when you start the game off. But dude, it is such a
I don't know, some of them are pretty good.
Well, they're good, but they don't. Like the Mickey Mouse one that they give you is the only one that actually gives you a full emoji catalog.
Oh, see,
like, the ones you unlock only give you like partial, like half of what the Mickey Mouse one does.
Oh, see, on mine, I have all of them. Like they just give you them all. They just sort them by characters, and then you have to like hold the character down to get the emojis. But
yeah. Well, it does that on mine too. But but there's only half the amount of emoji things that you have to choose from the Mickey Mouse one that you originally get when you download the game or whatever.
Yeah.
The amount of options are less on all the characters that you unlock. because like I went to the Mickey Mouse one, and you have like all these options of emojis that you could do with the Mickey Mouse one, and then I would click on my other ones that I unlocked, and it's like just, you know, like your basic little thing of like the, like, I don't know, it had like 12 maybe.
Yeah.
Whereas the Mickey Mouse one has like 20 or like different things to pick from. So yeah, I was a little disappointed with that they kind of like, because especially with how easy it is to try to get people to spend money on that game.
Yeah. No, I get it. But, all right, let's get into some of this stuff that we should probably be talking about. Gamescom happened this past weekend. We're just going to kind of skip around here because we went a lot longer on that than I expected. But Gamescom happened. They showed a bunch of games, games we knew about, games that, we haven't really seen before. But anything jump out at you guys for Gamescom? I don't really think we need to talk about every game, but there's quite a bit. So
I know for sure. I'm not sure if I wasn't expecting it, but Crash Bandicoot 4 kind of jumped out at me. Like I wasn't really expecting us to be back to Crash, but then again, I guess we had to build up for it, given that they re-released the trilogy.
Yeah.
They re-released the racing game. They actually created a standalone game recently, but it wasn't like an actual Crash Bandicoot.
It was that phone game they released.
Okay, yeah. So I was actually, I guess now in hindsight, I guess we saw it coming.
Yeah.
But it still caught me by surprise when I saw the Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time.
Yeah, it's it's a little bit different art style than the trilogy, which I was kind of like, why don't you just use the art style from the trilogy? Because it,
right,
just kind of make a continuation. But
yeah,
I don't know. It looks like it fits. It looks fine. I'm not a big Crash guy, but it looks fine.
I'm not really the biggest Crash guy either, but like anything that calls back to some yonder yore of origin gaming, from whether it's an old school throwback to Nintendo, an old school throwback to Xbox, or it's an old school throwback to Sony PlayStation. It's always going to be one of those ones that always gets my attention. Not saying I'm just going to run out and get it on day one, but yeah, when I saw that, I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
I was a big Crash fan. Like, me and my sister, like, that was the one game that we would just sit down and play for hours and hours and hours on PlayStation. So yeah, I've been excited. Like, I got the collection on Switch, and stuff. So I do play that occasionally. But yeah, I'm excited for a new one. It's everyone else is getting their their new Ratchet and Clanks, and their and like, I think, have they made a new Spyro yet, or is that something?
They just released a collection, but that was about it.
I think that's probably coming soon here too, but yeah. So I out of all those early PlayStation character based games, like that was always the one that I gravitated towards. I didn't really get into Ratchet and Clank too much, or Spyro, or any of that.
It's crazy to think, because Ratchet and Clank, in my opinion, was the underdog back during those days when it was Jak and Daxter versus Ratchet and Clank.
Jak and Daxter.
It's crazy to see that Ratchet and Clank is the one that had the longevity.
Yeah. I always thought the first Jak and Daxter was like really good. I didn't really care for 2 or 3, but Jak 1, and then like Sly Cooper, I thought was another one that would have lasted way longer than Ratchet.
Isn't Sly Cooper coming back too?
I thought I
had heard
some rumors.
Yeah,
I mean,
I heard something about a possibly new.
That rumor's been going around forever, because at the end of the 4th game on PS3, I think it was on PS3. The 4th game, they teased a 5th game, but I mean, that was on PS3, and we're headed into PlayStation 5, so I don't know exactly yet, but the thing that bothers me about PlayStation right now is that, like, they made all these HD trilogies for PlayStation 3, of these classic PS2 games, or just like collections of like the Infamous collection or the Killzone collection and stuff. And you can't play them anymore. Like they're stuck on PlayStation 3. Like why can't we get those collections on like even a PlayStation 4 version of them so they're backwards compatible on PlayStation 5? You know, like I would love to go back and play Infamous 1 and 2 again. Those games were awesome. But there's no way to play them.
Yeah. Well, see, and that's the thing, like honestly that's like I do want to get a PS5, but how determined I am to get one depends on, you know, like I want to know more about what exactly this backwards compatibility stuff, you know, there's, you know, we've been hearing for like I think over 2 years now about them having a patent for some kind of, you know, like backwards compatibility type thing, you know, like it's been a while now that there's been all this talk about something with them. I want to know what all that stuff is. I want to know what we're going to get when it comes to backwards compatibility, because really that's the selling point for me.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, but I'm also going to be the bad guy here. And after the debacle of backwards compatibility on PS3, I stopped caring about backwards compatibility.
Yeah, I think maybe, I guess just being like Xbox players and like not really having a lot of amazing exclusives and them really pushing backwards compatibility, it really pushes a lot of like older games on you, and obviously Nintendo re-releases everything old any chance that they get. So like maybe that's just kind of where as a player I'm coming from, and so I don't know. I would like to see some of these games come back, but also like I think about this a lot too, where I don't really have the time to play new games. Why would I be going back to these old games, you know? So I'm kind of I thought about that the other day, where like the only game I'm really playing consistently anymore is Destiny, and I've been playing it consistently since 2014. So, and everything else is like I maybe finish 5 or 6 other games a year. I'll dabble in other games, but finishing games, you know, I don't even remember the last game I finished this year, honestly.
Actually, you saying that reminds me, there was something like somebody that went on record for PlayStation. I want to say it was right before the PS4 launch. Somebody basically had the same like oops moment that spokesperson had for Xbox about like, you know, like always having internet. But basically when it came to backwards compatibility, they said something, and it was like and it was basically, I'm paraphrasing right now, but it was basically, we don't care about you being able to play your old games. And you know, it sounded harsh on paper, but you know, yeah, like I will, when I'm exhausted with the current games are out, maybe, you know, every once in a while I will throw on Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions, or I will go back and play like Front Mission 3 or Parasite Eve or the first Devil May Cry, which I don't have on the trilogy, so I have to go back and play it on PS2, you know. Yeah, so you know, and like I said, like I may sound like the bad guy here, but backwards compatibility doesn't move the needle for me at all right now as far as like the game consoles are launching.
Yeah, for me it's about preservation of games, of just, you know, like if you want to be able to play a game, to still be able to have that option without having to go and buy all this old tech, you know. Like I love the idea that I can, on my Xbox, I can play Dead Space 1, 2, and 3, and I can stream it through, you know, I can stream it on Twitch through my Xbox. And, you know, I just like that I can go back and I can play all these old games and stream them on Twitch through my Xbox. Like, yeah, you know, like that, like it just, I think that's the thing is like, for me, Xbox just did backwards compatibility so well that now it's like, that's the standard that I hold it to. is
because, yeah,
you know, like, you know, and that's why it feels like I want, if Sony is going to come out and say that they're going to do backwards compatibility, I want them to actually put the work in to do it and not just half-ass it, you know? Like,
yeah,
you know, that's basically where I'm at, is either do it and do it right, or just don't do it at all. Then just don't do it at all.
oh yeah, for real.
You know, like,
actually, you saying that actually gives me one of the talking topics for the Crossroads podcast. I'm gonna ask the panel how they feel about backwards compatibility, and see if I can start a fight on the panel.
That's funny. Do it.
But yeah, well, you know, and the thing is, though, with this whole thing is, I didn't get a chance to watch all of the shows that have happened, because, you know, being busy and stuff this week, I caught a little bit of it, of the show. I forget there was something I was watching that I caught a glimpse of that they're talking about, but I need to, there's so much I need to catch up on as far as news goes.
The Indie Games podcast was amazing, guys. Like, Corey, I do like how Ed just like co-opted that that back half of the freaking but yeah, that Indie Games podcast was amazing. Like, it actually made me stop what I was doing and look up a few of these games. Like, oh, I need to get this. I need to check this out. And Dan, like, hey, that was a wonderful guest you guys had that day.
Yeah, we're gonna try to have more kind of, I guess, specialty guests, you would say, on the show. Just, you know, if we're focusing on a specific topic, we're gonna have like we're gonna talk about Zelda soon, so we're gonna have someone probably from another Zelda podcast on, or, you know, someone in the realm of Zelda. Come on, or, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the goal, at least.
I guess I need to find another Monster Hunter person.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, I wish my friend Joey, who used to podcast with us a long time ago, is a huge Monster Hunter fan. I wish I could get him in on this. But he's an IT guy too, actually.
Okay.
He works for a company called Reynolds and Reynolds, so yeah, but anyways,
so what did you guys think of Valhalla?
I like Assassin's Creed a lot. I liked Origins, but after playing Odyssey, like, Odyssey blows Origins out of the water gameplay wise and movement wise and just everything else. You know, it's just kind of like, I look at Valhalla and see Origins again, and I'm like, I wasn't really crazy about the movement, because the character really felt heavy. You couldn't jump off of these like 1,000-foot ledges and land on your feet, you know, like you can in Odyssey. Like, it looks like it's going back to Origins, and that doesn't really, I'm not really amazed by that. You know, I love Odyssey. Odyssey is probably a game of the generation, if not one of my top 10 games of all time now. Like, it's just, it feels so good to play, and if Valhalla doesn't feel like Origins, I feel like I'm going to be disappointed. I think it looks cool. I like the setting. I like the Viking motif. You know, like, I really like what they're going for, and I want to like it a lot. There's just something there that's kind of like, it's almost rubbing me the wrong way a little bit as a fan of the series. So
that's understandable.
But, like, yeah, I think overall it looks cool.
Yeah, I had gotten Origins, and, you know, like, was kind of disappointed with that game just because it wasn't quite what I was looking for. But then I did eventually get Odyssey, and I really do like Odyssey. Like, I like the combat and all that stuff. I don't know. It felt a little bit more deeper than Origins did, as far as, like, combat and you know, like, having the swords and blocking and, you know, all those kinds of things that I just felt like weren't quite in Origins. So yeah, like for me, like it seems like it's going to have kind of that Odyssey, like where there'll be a lot of combat stuff, you know, be a little bit heavier on combat. And if they can do that for me, like I think I'll definitely enjoy it much more. You know, like I'm kind of the same as you though, like where I do like the setting and all that stuff, definitely much more than most of them. So yeah, I'm hopeful of it. You know, like I'm you know I still don't know. It's probably not something I'm gonna get right away, but I will get it eventually.
Yeah, it's like the more and more I watch it, the more and more like I wanted it at launch, and I was like, man, I'm really excited. I'm crazy about Odyssey, and the more and more I watch this, I'm like, maybe this is like a wait until like that huge $120 digital version's like $17 next March.
Well, I'll be honest, you know, this is what the problem is. I cannot wait for Cyberpunk, and that game is going to probably take the like next quarter of my life to finish. so like, you know, like I just don't have, I mean, look at like this whole month I haven't played barely anything for games. I just don't have that kind of time that where if I'm going to have a big game like that, I'm going to have to choose. And unfortunately, Cyberpunk, or well, no, it's not really unfortunate, but Cyberpunk just is like, I love sci-fi. I love, you know, like everything that game is what I'm interested in, be it TV shows, be it movies, be it whatever, like that speaks to me like completely. So that game is going to be what, anytime I need to stick time into something to accomplish something in a game, it's going to be that one. So I just don't know when I would get to, you know, no matter how great it is. I'm, you know, like I didn't play Witcher 3 at all, just because like, you know, it was interesting to me, but it was just like I just didn't want to dedicate that kind of time to that game. But with Cyberpunk just being so much more of what what I'm interested in, I can't, you know, not dedicate my time to that game. So you know, that's kind of how I've been looking at a lot of things as far as the future goes for games here.
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, the thing I was most excited about during this, I think, was the Destiny 2, the trailer that showed the new abilities, the new stasis powers. And like,
how'd I know that?
I mean, look, we had an hour and 48-minute Tower Casuals, our Destiny podcast that's supposed to be 30 to 45 minutes. We went almost 2 hours on this. So,
well, and look at his background right now, guys.
Right?
Yeah. It's not my background on the podcast, but for my Skype call, it's Saint 14 right there. He's the greatest Titan who ever lived and resurrected. But
actually, I will say there was a wow factor for me. I don't even play Destiny, but there was a wow factor for me watching that during the opening night live session. And it's funny because like I was paying attention to the chat stream, and there was a lot of haters out there. But at the same time, it was like people was like, just shut up and just watch the trailer.
Yeah.
Because if anything, it was gorgeous, and like I said, there was a wow factor in it for me.
Yeah, definitely this year with gaming as new consoles and everything come, I've just been more and more of like, I just do not give a shit what people say right now. Like I'm, you know, either it speaks to me or it doesn't. And, you know, that's all that really matters right now. Like I look forward to both consoles, you know, like I give them a lot of credit for, at this point anyways, as far as right now goes, they still plan on bringing the consoles out, and that's something we'll probably talk about on Arsenal X. But like I just, you know, like, man, as far as console release years go, this year has just been a cluster F. Like it's just, between COVID and just
Yeah.
everything going on, it's really getting harder and harder to be excited for the new consoles. Like as much as I really want to get both of them, there's also just both consoles are just not at a point where it seems like you need to get either of them, on day one. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
because a lot of things are just happening, and a lot of things but a lot of things aren't. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
It's like that. There's that article about should they just cancel console releases and just do them later when things can kind of get put back on their feet again. And part of me, it's like I honestly wouldn't blame anyone if they did just decide to cancel the release of the new consoles.
Well, it's kind of weird because when I started talking about PS5, I didn't even realize that it was about that time for the new console cycle to begin. I don't know. I feel like with the way technology and stuff has gone so far in gaming and stuff, like PS3 PS3 and Xbox 360 PS3 and Xbox 360 in my opinion had a very long lifespan.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured that PS4 and Xbox One was going to have that longer lifespan too. But it was kind of crazy when 3 years ago we're hearing them already started to mock up the PS5, and I was like, wait, what's going on here? Like I just bought this system, even though I just bought that system 5 years ago. But I just bought this system. Yeah. So yeah. It's kind of crazy that we're sitting here right at the beginning of a new launch cycle for brand new consoles.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, great new games have been coming out for these consoles we have right now. Like Xbox is been having a whole lot of new, more exclusive games that have been coming out to the Xbox recently. And they a major success in Flight Simulator, that game is like a modern marvel. Just what it's doing, it is in my opinion and a lot of people's opinion, truly next gen for PC and consoles. What they're doing in that game is it's crazy.
Yeah.
And just looks amazing. It's crazy how realistic that game can look on PC.
Yeah, right.
So, there's a lot of things going on, and unfortunately, I don't think you'd be able to play Flight Simulator on an Xbox One. You would need that new Xbox in order to be able to play it, I think.
Yeah.
But
for real.
But, I mean, that could be their release game, but again, that's not new. People seem to be so upset about things. It's even though Gears Tactics hasn't been on console yet, and that would be brand new to the console. The Flight Simulator would be new to the console. But just because it already came out on PC, people somehow that's a negative thing or whatever. But I don't know. But I just think in general, it's just a really rough year for everything.
It's weird how
crazy year.
It's weird how console gamers are though, because if it comes out on the PC first, they're just mad and they're just ready to tear it to shreds and stuff like that. But if it comes out on PC on consoles first, it's the PC gamers is we're gonna wait because we're honestly used to getting games 2 or 3 years after a whole launch has happened, and, and things like that. So it's kind of strange, all jokes aside about the PC master race and everything, it's just really funny that when it comes to games, if it doesn't come out on all platforms at once, if it comes out on one platform versus the other, there's a different shift in attitude with how the games go.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand it. And that's the thing, that's why, I think it's really good on Microsoft for being like, hey, we're gonna start focusing on actually giving people on PC, a good experience, and like focus on, making that experience for PC people, better. Them getting tactics first, and them getting flight simulator, and them getting all these things first, in my opinion, is just Microsoft, doing good by what they said. What they had claimed they were going to try to do.
Yeah.
And I don't understand the hate or the the negativity for that stuff. Like
to kind of play off what you're saying, Jesse, like there's games that they put on PC like Gears Tactics and Flight Simulator, right? Like you said, Flight Simulator probably wouldn't run on an Xbox One, even Xbox One X. Like it's
no.
That game is people are having trouble running it on
on the PC,
moderate PCs, right? Like it's just one of those games. But when the Series X comes out and it's doing everything that they're claiming it's supposed to do, like like you said, they want the PC, they want to get back into the PC market, and I think they've done a pretty decent job of allowing their games to be everywhere on PC, right? Like you can buy them on Steam, they're available through Game Pass on their own store. I think they've done a pretty decent job, and like their back catalog of Xbox 360 games are supposedly coming to PC soon. Like I think Microsoft's doing really well by the PC crowd. Halo, the Master Chief Collection, is apparently amazing on PC, and that's awesome.
Right.
If Phil Spencer says he doesn't care where you play their games as long as you're playing their games, and I think that they're holding true to that at this point.
That's a wonderful attitude to have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I know, like, okay, yeah, Halo Infinite's it's been delayed, right? But the Xbox One version is still coming, and a lot of people think that it's going to hold that game back, but also they're sticking to their guns. They're saying, hey, look, for the next couple of years, we're still going to support the Xbox One, and Halo's our big juggernaut game. So I don't know. I kind of appreciate what they're doing, although I do see the argument on both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
Because PlayStation's literally cutting off the PlayStation 4 the day the PlayStation 5 comes out. And Nintendo usually does that too, where they're like, okay, the Wii U's dead with Zelda, but also Zelda's on the Switch. Buy our new stuff, please.
Yeah.
Let's see. So circling back to the opening night live stuff, let me ask you a question. The Ratchet and Clank stuff, is it just me, or did it feel like it was basically the same content from the PS5 reveal, except just a slight bit, maybe like 12, 18 seconds longer?
It was a longer version of that PlayStation demo. It looks cool, and they have like an extended thing on their YouTube page apparently, in 4K, but yeah, it was essentially the same thing, which, don't get me wrong, it looks great, but I want to see I want to see more. Like, I want to see jumping through the different dimensions. I want to see that on the fly, like spamming it almost. Like, can you really do this on the fly, or is it just like,
Well, I mean, with the power of the NVMe drive, like technically it's supposed to be able to have all that stuff like right then and there. Like, if you're gonna do all that jumping and switching through the parallel dimensions and stuff like that, so it's like no load times, nothing ridiculous or anything like that. You used to go boom, 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 boom.
Are you worried about them coming out and saying, hey, we're going to have a 4K 30 frames a second version of this, or a lower resolution, higher frame rate version of this?
I hadn't put much thought into it, but it would rub me the wrong way if it's a lower frame rate version.
Yeah.
I seen that might be the case.
Yeah.
Like that they don't think that they'll be able to do more than 30 frames per second.
Yeah, that would kind of burn me, because as a PC gamer, I've gotten used to having like the nice buttery smooth like 60 frames or higher. Mm-hmm. So if the power of these new consoles is supposed to be like push these games at 60, then we need it to be uniform across the board, and because what we don't want to have happen is we don't want gamers to feel like their consoles are inferior to any way, especially if it's more of a developer's problem and not the console's problem.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think I think in this case, though, actually, and I've been saying this for a while, is I've been watching a lot of videos on talking about like the hardware that are going to be in these consoles and how, what the difference between the two of them are. And like one of the things that's been said is that, like that the way that the PS5 is set up hardware wise, it will be able to do ray tracing, but it's going to be such a low version of it that it just like it's going to lack the power to be able to like, do it fully across the board. And so like I think that's what the problem is with the game, is if you want to get the ray tracing in it, I think it's going to take away so much power that you're only going to be able to get the 30 frames per second at 4K. Whereas like the main thing that the Xbox did is they powered the ray tracing with, like put cores that are dedicated just to ray tracing.
Yeah.
And that's what the big difference, I keep on hearing between the two consoles is Sony's ray tracing is going to be pulling from the power cores that are powering everything else. So it's causing it to not have quite as much power then to be able to to power everything else.
Yeah. You hit the bottlenecks.
Yeah, which the Series X has, that's why they go on about all those extra cores, because those extra cores that they have in it are going to be dedicated solely just to ray tracing and to audio, I believe is the idea. And so that's why, like, I think, and I've theorized this now for a little while, is that's why Sony put the money out to get the Unreal Engine demo stuff done on their stage, because I honestly think they're gonna have to rely on the ray tracing on that they're gonna be doing in that new Unreal Engine software wise. They're gonna have to rely on that much more than the Series X will. And so that's why, and them knowing that, they want to get out in front of it and, like get Unreal Engine and, on their stage and kind of be able to show, that their games will look good on the PlayStation. It's just, like, and does it really matter? I mean, at the end of the day, but, like, I don't think they're going to be able to do ray tracing as well on a hardware level. And so, like, we could see stuff, happening where frame rates and stuff aren't as good as maybe we would like them to be until they start producing games through Unreal Engine. Like these early games, which we see every console. Like, you always get those first games on a console that are like, okay, well, this kind of probably could have almost ran on the old hardware.
Oh yeah,
but it still does look better. But it's not like this is what the console is going to be able to do day one.
I remember those cringy titles on the PS2.
Yeah, those first ones.
Oh boy, who could forget what was the one with like the historically accurate crab that you fought? Remember that whole thing? That was like they said the game was like historically accurate, and they showed this big battle scene of you fighting a giant samurai crab or something.
Wait, what was that? What was that?
Yeah. What was it? Was it Genji or something?
Yes, it was. Yes.
I was like, yeah. So it was interesting.
Oh God, so cringe. We've had less and less cringe as we come along. There's still some cringe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes though it's intentional. Like
every time Ubisoft marches out the Trials guys. Or like the Just Dance team.
Yeah, Just Dance.
Oh yeah. I swear, like, Ubisoft's making all their money every year off of Just Dance titles.
Yeah. Well, they did put it out on the Wii this year, so.
Well, and you do have to pay like monthly to get like the service where you can unlock all the old previous songs and all that. It's like $10 a month or something like that.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's something.
It's yeah. So, all right. We've been running a little bit long, so we're only going to answer one of our listener questions right now. So sorry, Logan, you're on the team, so we're going to skip your question. We're going to save this question actually for Arsenal X tomorrow because it's really good. Ashley Davidson writes in. She says, do you think PlayStation's decision to essentially turn their pre-orders into a lottery event is a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. It's a weird way to announce your pre-orders are coming.
Yeah. When I saw it too, I was like, that's kind of strange. But here's what I know. I used to be a manager at GameStop, and I know this. Like, there's always going to be this level of like not everybody's going to be able to get their pre-orders, even when they're fully paid for and stuff like that. So it's just one of those unfortunate things that you have to deal with in the retail environment and stuff like that. We don't even know how many units Sony is planning on saying they're going to have available for the launch. And that's also we're also waiting on a state of play where we may hear some more information. We haven't got a price point yet. We haven't gotten an actual definite release date yet. So if we don't have those yet, we won't even know for sure how many systems we're going to have. So are they going to have 1 million worldwide? Are they going to have 500,000 worldwide? Are they going to have 1 billion worldwide? I mean, we don't know. I just threw 1 billion out there, and it's a ridiculous number, but
The only thing they've said is that they're trying to double their output for the launch quarter, which is like, okay, well, if you produce 5 units, that's 10 units. Like, what does this number even mean? That's just an arbitrary marketing beat.
Yeah.
All I know for sure is I went ahead and I registered my PSN and my email address.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that's kind of coming up as a question of like why they did this, that there might be something behind all this that isn't a great thing. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like, I understand trying to get an idea of how many people are interested in buying something, but I think they could have did it a different way without it being. I don't think people would have taken it quite as negatively as if they said that, hey, like, if you register your PS4 and you do all that stuff, that like, we want to know how many people are interested in getting this day one. Now there could be an added bonus that whoever wanted to do that could do that. We can't guarantee you anything, but you might get an email that will give you the possibility that you could maybe pre-order a console a week before the pre-orders go up or something. Like, give you, like, make it something that's just kind of an interesting, like, bonus thing that isn't necessarily based around you wanting to pre-order something. Like, because the way they make it sound is like you want to pre-order, now you can do it, but then at the same time they're saying we can't guarantee that you're going to get one. It's like, you shouldn't have said that it was a pre-order then. Just say that it's just be upfront with everyone about it. What this is. We want to know how many people are interested. Beyond that, you can possibly get, a pre-order early if if you're picked. Like, they could have just did a better way of it. I feel like I don't think that it's a super bad thing what they're doing. I just think they just went about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
I just think, look, I guess it's like an interesting way to get people to, like, I think the lottery thing is just like a thing to garner hype and everything. Like, I don't really think that there's like a I mean, I think there's an arbitrary number of consoles. Like I think they have a set number of consoles, but it's if you sign up, like, what are they going to do? Say, oh, you can't buy our console because we don't have enough. Like, you really think? Let's say there. What is there? 115 million PlayStation 4s out there theoretically. Although I know I've bought two, so there's your.
I'm still on my first one, thank God.
Yeah, I upgraded to a Pro, and that was like a bad move. It's different because like I had a launch Xbox One, and then I upgraded to an X, and then I had a launch PlayStation 4, and I upgraded to the Pro, and like there was little difference in the Pro and the regular PlayStation for me, but the Xbox One X is definitely more powerful than the base Xbox One. But I think that this is just kind of like, I don't know. It's interesting though that this is the way they're telling people you can buy it directly from Sony, which is kind of a first in console selling, I guess.
I was gonna put my faith in my local Best Buy, because Best Buy sent me right after the PS5 reveal event, Best Buy sent me an email saying that we're planning on taking pre-orders for the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, I got that alert on my phone through the app.
Yeah. So I'll be keeping my eye out on it. I don't think this is neither a good nor a bad thing as far as it goes. I do believe part of it is the hype train. I believe I believe that's it. But at the same time, I think they just want some realistic numbers for what they may have, because this also goes back to, like I said, they haven't revealed price point yet, and I feel like they're some of these things they're still trying to keep a tight hold on, because they don't want Microsoft to scoop them. Yeah. So I mean, because like there's rumors that a State of Play is coming, and the next State of Play is supposed to have release date as well as price points and stuff like that. But there's no confirmation on it as of yet. And of course, like Microsoft is just sitting back. I'm not sure if they're twiddling their thumbs or they're coasting or whatnot. Nobody wants to make a move on the price, and I get it. Because Sony did scoop Microsoft last time with this, and Microsoft is looking for some get back on it.
Yeah. I still think that it could come down to the point of where Sony waits too long and Microsoft just comes out first, but they just literally like blow everyone away with the super low price that Sony could never
Sony can't contend with. Yes.
Like just say F it. We're $299 for the base Xbox.
Oh my god!
And $199 for the all digital.
I would buy an Xbox.
Who do you think is going to announce their price first, PlayStation or Xbox?
It'll be PlayStation. I feel like PlayStation is closer to launch than Microsoft is, so it'll be. I honestly feel, based off of what they showed us way back when in the PS5 reveal event, I feel like Sony is a lot closer to launch than Microsoft is. Not saying that I don't know. Microsoft may be ready, but they could just be playing it cool, waiting for Sony to drop all their cards. But I have a funny feeling PlayStation is going to be first out the gate, and that's going to be, because I think honestly, doesn't it alternate? It's been alternating since Microsoft's been in the game. Like Sony's come out first, then Microsoft comes out, first the next time, and then back to Sony. Because Sony screwed up bad with PS3.
Yeah.
Sony screwed up bad with PS3. Screwed up bad with price points as well as like hardware capabilities. And that gave the 360 like its big appeal. But then the Xbox One came out, and PlayStation was right behind it.
Yeah.
One of the things too that I just honestly just learned, I think, about this year, the end of last year, that I did not know about, is that Japan didn't get an Xbox One the ability to buy an Xbox One for almost a year after it had been out already. Like it took 9 months for them to finally get one. I didn't realize that had happened, and like I could see where that would majorly damage, like in that area, like your any kind of chance of getting any kind of footing at all. And like, like that's one of the things that they want to do this time around way differently.
Oh yeah, that's another thing too. Like Microsoft needs to realize this, because this is not the first console that they've actually like kind of like pushed aside the non-Western gamers. Like Microsoft needs to start coming to the table and realizing, hey, there's gamers all around the world, and their money just can't be good at certain points. It's got to be good the entire time, the entire spectrum. Don't delay so freaking long. Because at least every PlayStation after PS2. After PS2, every PlayStation console, I believe, had a worldwide launch. Oh, maybe I think there was a slight delay between PS3 in Japan versus the West, but it was so close together that it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
But PS4 had a worldwide launch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's ludicrous thinking that like we're going to release a gaming console. And we know that outside of the West, the other big gaming region is Japan. But we're just gonna like say, oh, you guys don't matter for almost a year. That's insane. And that's probably some of the reasons why Microsoft was hurting overall in Xbox One, just potential.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like that was kind of their focus, or Phil Spencer's focus. They built an actual base in Asia, like where they have like people that work there that work for for Microsoft or for Xbox, but they can be there on the in that area to be able to work with other companies to try to get more titles on the Xbox. And that's another thing that they kind of never really did a great job of, was trying to get more of those things like look at Phantasy Star Online as, too, being on Xbox. I mean, like it doesn't mean a whole lot to a lot of us here, but in other, those other countries where it's territories. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a big deal to be able to have it on a console, so... like I have a feeling we'll see more of that kind of stuff happening where we'll get things that will just be like, okay, I guess, but it's not necessarily for us. It's Microsoft doing what they feel they need to do to get those other people that aren't us interested in it,
Mm-hmm.
So, but
well, I guess we're gonna find out soon, hopefully. It is what, by the time this posts, it's going to be September, so
oh my god, did my Sony fanboy came out? I feel like I was a spokesperson for them just now.
I mean, look, it doesn't matter. We're here because we're passionate about specific things, and we're going to have good, fun arguments about stuff, and
well, and I think we've had some amazing conversations this episode about everything. So like that's what we want to be able to do. I'm glad like we're gonna have that you guys are doing a PlayStation show, and we can hopefully are gonna have some really good competition between Xbox and Sony, trying to make each other better at what they're doing. We
already claimed that we're the best. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're one episode in compared to our 106 of Arsenal and 210 of Power Block. They're already claiming.
Hey. Underdogs at the underdog.
Yeah. So, but we're gonna wrap things up here. I want to thank everybody for watching us live here on twitch.tv/BossRushGames live, or watching us on YouTube, or listening to us on podcast services. There are big things happening at Boss Rush Games. Just so much going on. I'm too excited. A little overwhelmed, but too excited about the things that are happening. Our new teammates, our new shows, interviews that are happening. It's just it's been fun the last few weeks putting this all together and updating the website, which is almost done. Jesse, remember that big overhaul of the website I did like 3 months ago? Yeah. It's gone. It's gone. This one's fun though, so I'm happy with it. It's the menu system's going to change this weekend, so I'm hoping to have everybody kind of incorporated and kind of just ready to go once we do this. But it's been this whole kind of transition has been fun for me to watch, and LeRon adding you has been awesome, and everybody else, Nelly and Logan, and hopefully we have like this video side of things kind of happening now, so it's been awesome. So
we're getting to the point where we could almost have baseball cards of each of us.
I know,
right? Yo, that'd be so awesome.
I know.
It's a whole team.
I know.
Have to start getting headshots.
Yeah. Speaking of, I do need a headshot of both of you at some point.
Okay.
Because I'm making like a team roster thing, and like on the website there's going to be a whole thing of like get to know our team and stuff. So
can it be a glorified? Can it be a glorified selfie, or do I have to hire a photographer?
You can do whatever you want, whatever you feel comfortable. I'm sure Jesse's just going to send me his Sea of Thieves picture that he took.
With my
So, Jesse, where can we find you?
You can find me almost everywhere as Phantom NXS. So.
LeRon?
All right. You can find me on Twitch at Exodus 803, Exodus EXODUS 803. That's also my Twitter handle, so you can find it there. And that's actually, if you use that, that's my PSN, my Xbox Live as well. So just look it up.
Awesome. You can find me at I am Corey HD on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on a plethora of shows here on Boss Rush Games. Gonna start trying to stream some games here a couple nights a week, so look out for that. Check out our family of shows: Nintendo Power Block, Arsenal X, and of course the new Crossroads, the PlayStation podcast. Hopefully on podcast services everywhere soon, if Apple ever approves it, and Google. Come on, guys. We're not Fortnite here. You don't have to keep us off your platform.
Right?
You can catch all of our content on bossrushgames.com. Thank you, LeRon. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next week, we love you.
Take care.